What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys survived some chop zones yesterday. And man, it was a bearish day, but they did not make that one easy or fun. They chopped around based off of some big news. And again, we did expect a little bit of volatility yesterday. We definitely got that volatility. But the one thing that keeps consistent is all of the party people each and every morning. We got Chuck ready to go. We got Alex. Good morning, Andy, Bill, Brian, Kerry. David is in the house. What is up, Eric? Franco, Greg K joining us. We got Jay Linder, Joe, Lauren, Win. My boy Greg Gilbert just hopped in. We got Richard Jet in YouTube land. All the lurkers not saying nothing in YouTube land. I love you guys. Good morning to all you guys as well. Make sure you guys hit that little thumbs up, the like, subscribe button. Do all the things that YouTube people tell you to do. I don't know how it works, but it seems cool to hit buttons. So Win says GFAI give me some serious FOMO this morning. Is that a ticker? Guard Force AI. It's got AI in the title, so how would it not run like a beast? Yikes. Is Guard Force AI. What about just AI in general? Is that running too? Nope, not the same response. $12 pre-market on GFAI. All right, let's see what the overall indices is doing. But there is some hot moves in some AI market, not related to all. But we do have the SPY. So SPY, watch this zone very closely where we're at. Let's expand this out to a massive size candle. And then let's do one quick little fib on this thing. Obviously, very bearish candle yesterday. Not quite breaking some of the bigger pivots or lows. So about a 50% retrace could make some sense today. We're very close to that 50% retrace. So I'm going to draw two new lines on my chart just so I have them saved. And then we could clean it up a little bit, but that would be 618. And then we should have the 50 right here. So those are my two lines, the 50 and the 618. Both spots where we could get some decent resistance from the bears on this little bit of a gap up. It is a gap and go, but it is inside, and that is a bearish candle. So I'm not going to start flipping to bullish, even though we're gapping up so far. But we could get a little bit higher. We do have a, besides the 50 and the 618, we do have a VPOC somewhere around 410.01. So I'll watch that closely. And then somewhere around 410.51. So we got two spots. And let me see if I can straighten this line out a little bit. There we go. So we got two spots for pretty healthy retracement still. And let's see if we hit this thing pre-market at all as well. If this has already happened. Extended traded hours, good. No. And they're gonna make me extend these. I guess I did them too far. I think we hit the 50 if this is correct. So that's the 50. And this would be the 618. So we already did hit the 50. Came up into it like a champion, pre-market already. Do we have one more push ahead of us? That's where probably PPI came out. Good rejection. And we are going to have a little bit of volume coming in now from pre-market from the 409.12. That should be our support zone. So a little bit of a chop in here. I could see us maybe making one more break. Potentially that 618 is still above us. We also know we do have the previous VPOC up there as well. So we'll see. Do we have a wave count on this thing? Right now it's stuck in this big high wave. Until we break out of that high wave, we will be just chopping. It's a decent zone though. So 409.96 to 408 gives us $1 to bounce back and forth. Harold said it works the same as the stock market. Press some buttons, make some money. I mean, I don't make the money on YouTube, so I don't know. I gotta renew my contract. Who's making money on YouTube? PewDiePie and Mr. Beast. I think those two guys. All right, let's take a look real quick at the cues. But yep, still inside day, and let's see if we can get a reversal spot on the cues. We got 50% retracement of this candle. Gives us something around this zone. So we got the 50 right here. We've got the 618 right here. Something like that. There we go. That would be 316.20 and what was that, 315.50? So two spots. Let's check out the pre-market on the cues. And those, again, those are going to be spots I'm looking either take targets if I'm bullish, and if I'm not bullish, that's where I'm going to try to look and play bearish. So we'll see how this thing wants to play out. This looks like probably wave 1, 2. We're probably in a wave 3. We'll see how this thing comes in, but if we get some kind of initial sell-off, we probably get one more bounce. And then if we're going to continue bearish, that's where I think that one happens. So we do have a little bit of volume areas up there as well. But yeah, I do expect a little bit of a chop at open before we decide direction. This is technically a gap and go. We might be trapping some bears, but realistically, if I was bearish, I'd still be probably hanging out and not taking shares off the table yet. Not really giving me a good reason to. All right. We looked at the one stock. If you guys have other stock tickers or anything gapping looking interesting, let me know. I know Baba had some news. What was it? SoftBank, soft something. They left Deepax in house. Yeah. They're pulling out of Baba. Apparently that's good. Apparently people like it. We do still have that same little gap up, just kind of hanging out, still same. The only thing with this one is you do have about a 50% retrace already, and you do have a little bit of support. So somewhere around this 94, 88 zone should be some kind of support where we get, if we do sink down into there, we might get some interest in the buyers. Otherwise, the candle formation doesn't look that impressive. Where we closed yesterday does not look that impressive. And again, this is going to have to be a spot where the bulls need to try to save. Otherwise, we really do still have some room down to $90.83. And then the next one after that probably becomes 87.70, and 86.31 would be a bigger kind of gap fill retrace on all of this. So we'll see what happens with that. Matt R says SoFi. Yeah, Goldman Sachs. I did look in the afternoon room. That is an interesting one. We'll pull that one up too, just to see how that one's moving. But SoFi, a little bit of a gap up. We do have some buying pressure in SoFi from yesterday, off a good volume area. Targets. I mean, we're at one little resistance, and then you start going to get hit with probably about $5.94. I think is where the next resistance comes in. So I'm just not sure there's enough room for me to make something. Let's check out Goldman Sachs real quick. So Goldman Sachs, it looks interesting. I did the afternoon room yesterday. I was like, I don't know. It's just so tough to want to swing something into earnings of banks, being that this is Goldman Sachs. But I was like, a play I would be interested in doing is you do have that red hammer up here. And my thought is if by the end of today we do not get filled, like we don't set the order up today, but we don't break that, or we're still below that candle, I think that would be a zone where if the banks just miss and the numbers look bad, this thing probably tanks. We don't get filled, and no harm, no foul. But if they're good or the market reacts good to it, we get filled, and then that's a good continuation. But the only thing with this one is I would be looking for a 50% retracement, right? And I don't think we had enough room. It got us up to about 340. So not really good risk reward. Plus, even though this is a retest candle, it's a red candle, right? And it did retest. You still have 1, 2, 3, 4 candles in a row prior to it. So you still kind of want to take a pull back as opposed to a breakout on something like this. Just because if we do break out, now all those guys are profitable too. So I think that kind of reduces the trade a little bit. But out of everything in the banking, this one candle did look very, very interesting. So we'll have to see how this one wants to play out. I wouldn't mind as a day trade keeping it on the list and just seeing if we could get some kind of a break from here. And then, yeah, we probably do have some decent momentum. There's not really another VPOC at least up until 342.65. And we do have a moving average coming in 335.50, but we still have some good room on this one. I'm going to add this to the list. We'll put it to the top of the list just to see how it plays out, but it has to kind of break. And then the other thing on a day trade basis too, if you're really thinking about it, bank earnings are tomorrow. So now if you're any of the guys in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 days on Goldman Sachs, and you are profitable, why would you not want to cut, maybe not your entire position, but shave some of that profit off? Does that make it a little bit trickier to day trade it up higher? So just on a chart basis, looks decent. Probably would be a hammer I would like to play. Probably would still like to catch a pullback. But then you got that next dynamic of what are the other traders that are already profitable in this thing thinking? Is this a good opportunity for them to get into it or not? So we'll have to see on that. NVIDIA. NVDA. Yep. So this one is gapping up, but it's a very, very small gap. Well, all things comparison, it's $1 into some resistance. I don't like that little close that we had yesterday. If I was a bull, I'd be terrified and maybe start to look to shave something. This is the left shoulder. This is the head. This is the right. See if we can find the neckline. That's not the straightest line, but it's close. Neckline is right there. So I think this spot right into that VPOC, if we can make it that high, would be a decent spot to start to look short again on NVIDIA, because this would be a retest. This is 269.11. For right now, we still have to battle this one, 266.11. But I'll be watching that spot very closely, as that would be kind of the retest into the neckline. And then we'll see if we can make that kind of bigger, longer term rollover. But the head and shoulders, I think, is solidified at this point. That was a very bearish close. We did close below the neckline. And I am thinking bearish for NVIDIA. Question is today. I don't know. Maybe we get some chop first. We'll have to see. But if we get a break, we could actually fade this thing bullish into that 269, as long as our risk reward is decent. DAL, but obviously I do watch that one quite often. Delta looks interesting. Look at the volume that came in yesterday. We are gapping up. Did earnings happen today? So earnings was today. They missed on both revenue and earnings per share. That's a signal to buy right there. But there was a miss, and I'm liking where this gap is coming in. This is going to have to move pretty high on the list. Bad numbers are good. If I was a CEO, I'd just come out and be like, there's no numbers to report. We're going to push it off. And then the stocks will skyrocket. You're like, wow, not even any number. I would even come out and be like, these numbers, I'm not going to mention them, but they are bad. They're horrific. So bad, I don't want to mention them. And then moon Lambo on the stock. So I would be worried about 34.84, but this is a decent, there's your hammer. This entire day was a retest, great volume on it. And then we are gapping above it. This has to be my favorite gap so far of the day. And I hate trading Delta. I hate it so much, but it's got some room. It does. All right. Tesla in Roblox. Tesla. We got coin as well. Let's see. Tesla. Kind of still hanging out. Again, it's going to have I think, more of a challenge to the higher end. I think shorting this thing as high as possible, which would to me be somewhere around 183.90, 184. Maybe we even get to 184.60, but somewhere around that zone would be a good short. Again, it is a gap up from close, still inside day range. I don't think this one probably retests too much, in all honesty, but we do have good resistance around there. We also have a little bit of support. Probably next target to the lower side will be back to about 179.70. That's been holding pretty good in this zone over here. And if we get a little extra sell off, probably 179 is going to be probably the low of this thing on a breakdown. So short this thing as high as possible if you could, and we'll be watching that one throughout the day. Roblox. Probably in a little bit of a chop zone too. So the high end probably about 46.13. The low end that you want to watch for is 45.55. See if we get some kind of break of that. We obviously already did break that once with yesterday's candle. So is yesterday's VPOC going to hold or not? If not, the next lower target will be about 45.20. And again, that one has been already retested too. So if the market is kind of flipping and reversing, we got 44.79. So you got some room to the downside. But as close as possible to 46.11. I was trying to set alerts yesterday. It wasn't working. Yep, still not. I got to exit out and I think re-sign in, something like that. But yeah, Roblox probably a little bit more to the chop side. Let's take a look real quick at coin. Win says CEO, numbers were horrible. We're laying off 99% of our people. Buy it all. In fact, we might not even be in business in 2 months. I need extra. Take out second mortgage. Get me as much as possible. And we're partnering with Bed Bath Beyond. The world does not have enough money. Print some more, Jerome. All right, we got Coinbase. $70.49. It's a decent volume on this one. Yeah, just kind of inside day. It would be interesting to see this candle break. I think Jeremy is looking to set up some kind of swing. We have this gap up here, right? And I think that's where we're pretty much targeting that gap. But we do have a higher VPOC at somewhere around 82.62. I know at least, I don't know if it was this morning or like 5 a.m. I forget when I was looking at the at crypto. Man, just saying that out loud makes me feel like I don't really sleep that much. But yeah, I saw crypto is going crazy again. Maybe Coinbase could get some benefit from that. We got to watch this spot right here on Coinbase, $70.48. If that breaks and holds, really, probably a really nice trade up to 73.79. I'm going to put this one right after Delta. It's just that one level. Again, buying it as low as we can. So if we could get some kind of a pullback, even into like 68.83, we have really, really good risk reward at that point. And we'll see what we could do from there. But yeah, coin could get momentum just because I think crypto is getting momentum. And that might be enough to push this thing a little bit higher. Roku. So I was looking at the Roku fundamentals yesterday, again at nighttime when everybody else was sleeping. I don't know why. Starting to think it's a problem. But hold on, we gotta go back further. This company was valued at like 30 or 40 billion dollars back here. Anybody want to take a stab at how much revenue they made this year? $8. No, a little bit more than $8. You're not giving them enough credit. Not enough credit. They were valued at about, I think it was about $40 billion. A $40 billion valuation at 450-ish. Not $9. No, they were making about $5.2 million per year. So you have a company making $5.2 million and you value that company at 30, 40 billion. I was like, oof. That would have been the easiest short if I did some fundamentals on that one before, but oh well. That being said, probably $60 is a little overvalued as well, and it's down 80%. And you still have competition from Amazon. You still have competition from any other. Disney probably is leaking into their business a little bit too, but we'll have to see. They are getting this gap up and looking at about 61.96. It's the next GameStop. Yeah, that's the problem. It might be. I don't even think so. I don't think this is. I'd have to see how many shorts are in this thing. We're in a TTM squeeze on a daily, so if anybody wants to take that. However, momentum is shifting bearish. All of the moving averages right now are bearish, and yeah, looking for a good short on this one would be probably still decent, but we're gonna put this one up. The only case that you can make to own this thing in a long term is because growth, like maybe, but at this valuation, I would need to be sitting probably at some losses or flat position for quite a few years before we start to actually see the growth apply to the shares. But again, so we do have a little bit of a gap up. We're at a decent short spot now. I'd love to short it probably a little bit higher, 61.97, if it gives me that opportunity. Otherwise, I'd probably look to just continue playing that momentum. We still have, we did have that VPOC tested. We still got a longer term moving averages coming down on us. That's going to take a little bit longer to push. So we're still just chopping inside the zone for a little bit. We have Goldman Sachs. FedEx looked interesting pre-market. Let's see if it still does. Yep. FedEx is a gap and go at one little resistance there. Otherwise, we could be starting to get to an area where there's not a lot holding us back. Could see a target of like 244, but I'm watching this gap today on FedEx, seeing if we can get some kind of additional momentum. Obviously, we have two almost tweezers up here on the daily chart, and we're at some type of resistance. If you think FedEx is overvalued, you're probably looking for puts here and then probably close them out at a loss at 236.17. But if we could get a break past that number, and I would still give this thing some time just in case, but this is a gap and go for the day. We are at some type of resistance. If we could break it, I might go bullish on it. I would have to be terrified or at least selling some shares probably around this 235.70 zone if that's not my 2R target already. But I do have that one on the list. NVIDIA I put on the list as well. Square. Square is a little bit of a gap up. I would be looking for about a 50% retrace on this one as well. This one actually I was looking for bullish on this gap. So again, it's inside, but you're at some type of support now. Maybe it comes down and we get a 63.15 fill, but this right now where this thing is opening is above the 50% retracement. From this overall move, we did bounce off a good little volume area as well, and there's not really a lot from this point. If in some stretch of the imagination we go bullish, and Square does have crypto plays too, but we should have room up to about 66.28. So I do like them. I'm going to push them a little bit higher on the list too, and we will see. No, not AAL, but Apple was also a gap and go too, into a little resistance area. I don't know how much I trust Apple in a bullish direction right now, but it is a gap and go, so it's one to watch. If it goes bullish, I get it. I understand. Matt says I like Apple. PPI came in cold. Can you believe it? Let's see. It might not let me. No. Doesn't let me click the links. I have to go into Slack and look. All right. Let me see. I have to be a member one day if I could build up to it. Yeah, I don't know. Even though I'm signed in on the other, like literally I see Slack on the other screen. but for some reason the links I have to re-sign in. I don't know. All right, let's look at seeing if we can do some pre-market plays. If you guys see any other tickers or anything else you guys like, let me know. But let's see if we could get something pre-market. BFRG. Bullfrog AI. Man, anything AI, just ripping. I'm probably staying away from Bullfrog. DXY. Yep. The US dollar getting crushed again. Is this yep. A little bit of support. I could say that. I could also say you have a monster Head and Shoulders. There's your left, there's the right, there's your there's your left, there's your head, there's your right. The knee bone's connected to your arm bone. But yeah, if that looks like it's potentially about to break, otherwise you have a good support on the US dollar for right now. All right, DAL. Delta's already kind of selling off. So we have our established position. There's the bullish. That was your retest. That was the second attempt. We can't really do too much with this for right now, unless we get a break maybe of like 34.77. But now you got some pox up there. I'd rather wait, see what happens on that one. I don't see anything pre-market there. And then again, Coinbase, I believe we have, could be interesting on Coinbase. This is 1, 2. There's a big high wave. We might be able to play that high wave. Maybe go a little bit higher than it. We did break. Tried it again. We go $70 and 70.06. Question is, where would I have to put my stop though? Let's see if we get a buy 69.83 right off the line. 69.83. Was 68.83. Could take 68.83 as my stop. 68.83. So you got a full dollar. You got 71.83 would be targets. Is that possible? We're gonna have to deal with this line right here. $70.49. But if we could move stops targets, then we need 71.83. Essentially have to get to the top of this candle. But after we get past that point, there's not really a lot in the way. So I don't know if I'm going to set this one pre-market. That's how I would look to trade it. But maybe we could get it a little bit lower. If we get a little bit lower, I like it. I just don't know what we're going to do with that one spot, though. That's the only thing. I like that high wave a lot. I've got an R to burn. I'm gonna take it. Personal day trade, COIN, 69.83 by 68.83. I could lose a quick R in the morning, I think. All right, let me get this into Slack. We should probably try to get it a little lower, but we'll see. We'll see if it wants to come back for us. Let me set this up in the broker, and then I think we're almost out of time. It's gonna be a limit. 69.83. All right, I got my order set up. That was the opening bell, which means everybody in YouTube land, you guys are absolutely incredible. Make sure if you have not already hit the thumbs up, subscribe button, you guys do so, and be safe out there in the markets tomorrow.